戦するからよく見ろ証明してあげるよ何度も失敗して気が落ちるけど次やる時はきっとうまくいくだろう繰り返しても諦めるのは早いぞ
And welcome to the greatest anime podcast of all time, the Anime Egotist, where you better be good to your Pokemon because we don't like people who aren't good to their Pokemon.
Okay, but wait, hold on. But when you say good to your Pokemon, can we at least still have Toro steak?
Of course.
Okay, well then, all right, we're good. Yeah, I'll be fine. I am of the very few that believe that like Toro steak, baby back ribs from a milk tank would be delicious, and I personally, I don't know. If I lived in the Pokemon world, I would probably like corner the market because I'd be like, man, Toro steaks are the best.
Well, to be fair, I know one person who only gave his Pikachu paw fins and stuff, and it hurt its knee after it got hit with a solar beam. So I kind of agree with you on that. But anyway,
I mean, God, it's just so impossible to believe that that's such a big world like that. None of the Pokemon are eating other Pokemon.
Yes. But speaking of people who like to eat a lot, you got me, Alex, and I'm joined by my co-host who, if I'm completely sure, I don't know how good of a champion he'd be in the Pokemon region.
Thanks, and I'm Richard.
Hey, it's not that you wouldn't be a good champ. It's just I don't see you as a very good person to represent the region. You're not a good person,
Okay.
Richard. Yeah. And we are joined by a man. It's Toonz and Goons. You guys know him at this point. It's Toonz and Goons, formerly Jogger Joe. Sometimes we call him Jay. Say hello.
Hey, how y'all doing? It is the Toon Man himself, the Goon Man himself. I am here to talk some Pokemon because, you know, if I am not good at a lot of things, one thing I can at least do somewhat okay is talk about Pokemon.
Yes. And Mr. Toonz and Goons, in all seriousness, he is streaming a lot on Facebook. So please check him out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Is that generally the days?
Generally the days, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. It switches depending on the week. I might do Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. I might do like a full 5 days depending on what I got going on. But generally it's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I play Fortnite. I'm saving up my money. I will be getting an external hard drive so I can get more games. I'll be expanding to Mortal Kombat, Overwatch. Going to be getting a capture card. I'll be expanding to Nintendo games because, you know, there's a Nintendo game, a Pokemon game coming out in like a month and a half. So I'm going to get a capture card, expand. So it's a whole thing. I'm not going to take up more time. We'll do that at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you guys remember Toonz, and I keep wanting to say Jogger Joe. If you remember Toonz from last time when we talked about Pokemon, we talked about Pokemon Journeys, and while Part 4 did have a couple of issues and one arc that came completely out of nowhere, we had thought that overall it was a pretty good part to it, and overall we all enjoyed Pokemon Journeys, so we figured let's continue that into Pokemon Master Journeys when it comes out. So we got together. Well, we watched the episodes on our own, we came together, and we're here to talk about it, because we like to talk about the biggest events in Pokemon happening, like we talk about the games, and just all the movies, all this other sorts of stuff. Sadly, we're also around to talk about when nothing happens, because nothing happened in these 12 episodes, I swear. This was boring. I'm sorry.
Okay,
it's a small arc.
I'm gonna let you know that I'm gonna be the exact opposite. Yes, nothing happened. Yes, nothing happened, but I feel like I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings when I say this, but this is my opinion. I feel like I had more enjoyment watching these 12 episodes than I did waiting and watching for them to find and finish their stories in the first Pokemon journey. Like these 12 episodes were more enjoyable to me because I was like, okay, episode 1, I see what they're going for. By episode 12, they ended it in a cohesive manner while at the same time setting up for what's coming next. And that's one thing that I was like, okay, I'm a fan. All right.
I guess my thing is like the first like 2 or 3 episodes, I was like, okay, like it's not really what I expected at this point in the series, but it's fine. The last several episodes, I was kind of starting to get into it, but there was a good chunk of the middle where I was just like, what are they doing here? Richard, what do you think? What are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
So yeah, there was an actual overarching arc. I wasn't expecting it to be what it was at this point. I was kind of just felt weirdly placed, but I guess to start off a series, it's an interesting arc to choose. So we'll go over it because I've got all the episodes pulled up currently.
So did I because I
Uh-huh.
rewatched part 2 and we did not know what order the episodes were in, so I'm
No,
trying
we
to
didn't.
prepare better for that.
Yeah.
So I want to say this going into it, and we'll probably get into it a little bit more once we start talking about each individual episode. My biggest disappointment for these 12 episodes is that Chloe did not play as big of a part as it set up that she was going to in the first like 2 episodes. And I was
Thank
like,
you.
okay, Chloe's getting some more
Mhm.
time. Okay, I'm excited. By episode 6, I was like, what the fuck is Chloe? Why the fuck isn't she here? Like, I was excited because I was like, okay, we're getting a trio. We're actually getting a freaking trio for the first time in a long time versus just Ash and Go. And then she just like, nope, I'm back at the lab.
Or the worst part is, it's not that they're
Mhm.
giving her nothing to do; it's that they're only giving her filler at this point. That's the issue. Dude, it kind of feels like. Let me put to you for some of you who don't understand. It's like they're putting her on main event, but they're not putting her on SmackDown at all. It doesn't seem to work. And for those of you who
And
don't get that reference, I apologize, but still.
and to further get that, those who've watched main event and watched what they can do on main event know that if they were given a bigger position on SmackDown, it would be money. Like, for God's sake, we introduced an Evie with identity crisis to go with Chloe. Why not have that be the secondary arc? Because the overarching arc of this entire season was Ash and the freaking first Farfetch.
Far-fetched.
Perfect.
Like, that was the overarching arc of the 12 episodes. Why not let Chloe and Evie be that secondary? Even if Evie doesn't evolve at the end of the season, at least show us the progression of Evie figuring out it's fine. It's fine if I'm not whatever. If I'm
Yeah.
just an Evie.
Chloe's on the practice squad. She hasn't been signed to the active roster. Do not pick her up in any of your fantasy leagues yet.
I wish.
Anyway, so should we just jump into episode 1? Do you remember?
Please.
Richard, what was episode 1 called? Unless you have something else before we move on.
No, I think I'm ready to start. our
Okay,
this.
episode 1, which was called...
To train or not to train. This is the Eevee episode.
Okay, so it starts off basically there's an Eevee in the lab, and 2 scientists are trying to get it to evolve. It pretty much can't. No matter what stone it touches or what form, whatever, it just refuses to evolve.
Mhm. It also likes to copy the evolutions, similar to kind of the Let's Go Eevee. It gets moves based on the different types.
Yeah.
And I gotta admit to y'all, that's literally the big thing for me. Like, we are introduced episode 1 to this Eevee. We are introduced, and literally, I sat down, I was watching it, and I was just like, huh. So this season, like, before we got to see Ash Go anything, I was like, so is this season gonna be about Eevee and it's finding its way into like being who it's supposed to be? Like, if that's supposed to be the arc, I'm excited
Because
because
that relates to Chloe, because Chloe doesn't know what she wants either. So it sets up, it has the potential to be a really cool story.
it's right
it's-
there.
It's just like it's like they just barely want to give it to us.
And it's frustrating because literally I was like, this feel like, and that's another reason I say that I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Pokemon Journeys, is because these 12 episodes reminded me of the original Pokemon. Like, in my mind and my heart, it felt like I was watching the original Pokemon because like you had the setup. It wasn't about the journey of the Pokemon trainers. It was actually about the Pokemon and their journey and their stories and their arcs. And that's why I was like, dang, I actually really do enjoy this because it's not just, oh, let's watch Ash and Go try to finish their missions.
You know, there's a Pokemon YouTuber who you would love named Professor Silver. He does a great rundown of pretty much the Pokemon in the party because he doesn't talk about Ash that much or Go. Like, it'd be like, oh, this is the story of Brock's Marshtomp and how it was used in its story. I think you would like him. He does some really good work. Also,
I like it. I'm
the one thing that bothers me, and this is something I just sort of realized, this is like the 4th or 5th friend of Ash's who's had an Eevee. Like, okay, let's see.
Oh, wow.
Gary was a rival, so in a way, I guess that's kind of cheating.
Even though they did later become friends.
Yeah. May had an Eevee. Then May had an Eevee. Serena got an Eevee. Lana got an Eevee. And now Chloe has an Eevee. It's getting... it's not like Charizard level for me, where Game Freak just sort of keeps catering to it. But I am starting to notice, like, oh, this isn't... I'm not okay with this.
Yeah, Eevee has become very popular for them to use lately. It's always been a popular Pokemon, but it's becoming more and more used in this show, it seems like.
And I think it's simply because of the fact that, like, one, it can evolve into almost any typing, which more typings are on the way. Just y'all wait. I feel it. And two, it's because of the games. Like, they came out with Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Then everybody started like jumping on the bandwagon of like, oh my gosh, Eevee is so great. No, I was a fan of Eevee back in the day when there was only 3 evolutions and you had to pick one. That was the only one you got in the entire game.
We're coming off as real old because of these.
I don't care. I'll say it.
Anyway, but as the episode progresses, the researchers are getting more and more frustrated that Eevee seemingly can't evolve. The episode moves on. We get to see Ash and Go pretty much about to do their own thing, and Chloe's about to go to school because, remember, school is still a thing in this universe.
Go is actually going to school because he's got a test this day. That's that part.
It's basically like college for us all over. We don't have to show up to every class. It's just the ones that matter.
But here's the thing for me though. You establish that there is a school in this universe. You establish that much.
Okay.
First off, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would love for them to like dive head first into that. Have a school and have it like split off into parts. Those that want to be trainers, those that want to be professors, those that want to be Officer Jenny, those that want to be Nurse Joy. Like, let it branch. Like, that would be so nice.
Fun fact, they did an episode like that in the Ruby and Sapphire series. Like, once they got to Rustboro City, once they went to Rustboro City, it's like, okay, these are the classes for people who want to be professors. These are the class for people who want to do contests. It was actually one of the setups for May deciding, I want to be a coordinator. It was actually a really well done episode, in my opinion.
I am just completely blanking on that episode. I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Ruby and Sapphire was an underrated series. But yes, I do agree about the show. And then Eevee gets out, starts running around. And Chloe kind of notices, there's an Eevee out there. Or was it? No, it started following Yamper. It started following Yamper, and Yamper seemed really annoyed at first, and then Chloe's like, may I be excused? She goes outside, she starts checking on the Eevee. She feels a connection with it right away, which is fine, I guess. And Go shows up, and they basically try and protect the Eevee from the researchers, despite the fact that they might not necessarily be bad people, they're just not really going about it the right way.
Right.
Yeah, also, they're acting like classic Team Rocket, a giant net and chasing around saying, where are you, Eevee?
And Team Rocket were in school uniforms and as their disguises.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was weird.
Also, let me just say this right now, and we're gonna come back to this. And this is another one of my biggest disappointments. Well, not disappointments, one of my biggest gripes with this show. What the fuck is the plot armor? Like, my God, the plot armor in this one season alone, because it made, like, there were so many, because it makes sense for the plot, we're gonna allow it. Like, and it might just be because I played all of the games, so my frustration is like, that wouldn't work. Not so maybe that's just my frustration because I played the games, but like there was so much plot armor in this fucking season. Like, my God, we'll get into it in some of the later episodes, but this is the first episode.
I will say I do like the idea that once you're in class, you can just let your Pokemon go out and be on the playground and stuff. It's such a wholesome thing that I can't even hate on it. I appreciate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was nice.
Overall, though, well, there's not much more to say than that. Chloe decides, I want to catch this. because they give the Eevee back to the people. They apologize, but then at the end of the episode, Eevee's like, "No, I want to stay with Chloe.
I want to be over here with her.
Yeah, and overall, some nitpicks aside, it was a very solid episode. It was a good way of establishing stuff.
Yep, that's exactly.
Sadly, one of the things I want to talk about in this episode that kind of starts is we're not off to a great start with some points because we have to address the theme song, which is just okay to me. It's only okay to me.
I don't know. I can't say that I disliked this one. Like, yeah, I will admit that once I got to like episode 5, 4, I was like, okay, skip. I don't and I didn't. So I listened to the theme song episode 1, 2, 3. I think I got like halfway through 4 and I was like, okay, just skip. Then I didn't listen to it like 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, and 12. I did listen to it because I was like, I know we're going to talk about the theme song and I kind of don't remember it.
Yeah, because somebody keeps bringing it up.
So, and all in all, I'm not going to say I'm going to add it to my playlist of anime openings that I'm going to listen to, but it's not a bad theme to me. Does it rank in like the top 5 of Pokemon opening theme songs? No, but it was good for what it was.
I think my problem is 2 things. One, the lyrics feel really especially cheesy to me. I don't know.
Okay,
and 2, the person singing the song is actually Serena's voice actress, and she's done some really good Pokemon songs. Like the second Sun and Moon opening, I think is a pretty underrated song. This just didn't feel it to me. It felt like a commercial for Six Flags or something like that. Yeah, and that being said, the one thing I do hate about it is at the end when they're like Pokemon. Like it felt like they were like, okay, you say Pokemon, and you say Pokemon, but then one person just slipped up and said it at the wrong time. Like, I don't know, it didn't sound good. What do you think, Richard?
So, again, I kind of agree with Jay. It's kind of, when compared to Journeys had a much better theme overall, but this was okay. It's fine.
I was not. Why are you saying you side with Jay? That's literally what I said. It's okay. It's not horrible. It's not great. It's just okay. It's okay in my opinion. Then you get people who are like, yeah, but just imagine if Serena was singing it to Ash. I'm like, I feel like as great of a voice, her voice actress has a very good singing voice. But I feel like in the Pokemon universe, Serena's not a good singer. I don't know why I have that headcanon in my head, but I just feel like she's not that good.
Also, why are we imagining she's singing it to Ash if she's not in this season?
I don't know.
Let's put that out there, damn it.
People really like Serena, dude. It's.
I know.
Like respect. I get it, but yeah.
If she's not in the season, let's stop talking about her. If she has an episode, we talk about her. But like she's not in the season.
Yeah.
If you like her that much, go back and watch the season that she's in. Stop it. Stop it right now. You're ruining what we got.
But right. just to go back though, the visuals in this does make it seem like Chloe should have been in most, if not all, the episodes as a main character, because it's very focused on them, and I would have expected Leon to at least make an appearance in these episodes based on the opening.
Right.
Oh, yes. We mentioned this man in almost every episode that actually goes towards the arc. We mention Leon. He does not have a single, he doesn't show up. You don't get to see him. He doesn't do a commercial. He doesn't have a pamphlet. He doesn't even send a courier pigeon. What the hell, man?
Dude, he's on that part-time contract.
He must be, because man, I was disappointed. I was like, bro, can we at least see him in a battle? Can we have Ash see him battle and be like, oh, I'm gonna challenge him one day. I just gotta keep getting better. We have it that they're in the contender league. Why not have the champion battling?
To be fair, he was in Pokemon Evolutions. He was taking time off to film that.
Oh my goodness.
That wouldn't be the craziest theory.
It wouldn't be.
Also, we learned in Pokemon Evolutions, the protagonist of Sword and Shield, Victor, we learned he's black. So I'm set. I am happy about that. Anyways, I almost said season 2, which technically this is, but episode 2.
All right. Episode 2 is a pinch of this, a pinch of that. It's the fossil episode.
Ah, now I
Second.
personally,
Go
I
for it.
love this episode. While he's gone, I'll say this. Personally, I loved like everything about this episode. I was like, okay, good. My biggest gripe was that, oh no, another one of Ash's Pokemon takes out their aggression on Ash when he gets too close. Why have we seen that in almost every single season of Pokemon? Like, my goodness, can we just have one Pokemon that wants to get stronger, that wants to get better, that doesn't want to take its aggression out on its trainer? Please? Like we understand that Ash wants to be a Pokemon master, but if you have Pokemon that take their aggression out on you, you are not a good trainer. Why is it that they are always coming after you? Why are they always attacking you? You are not a good trainer. If I had dogs that was my job is to train them, and every time I got too close, they bit me, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get them to stop, you would look at me and say, I'm a bad dog trainer. That's how I feel about Ash at the beginning of this episode, because my goodness gracious, why did Farfetch smack this man around with a leak every chance he got?
Didn't we just get this episode? Like, didn't we get an episode, the last part, about them, all three of them going and looking for fossils? Why are we getting another episode so soon about that?
There's not really a great explanation for.
To be
why
honest,
they
though,
need
I
to get
feel like
fossils.
they and I noticed this. I feel like they repeated a lot of the stuff that they did in the Pokemon journeys in this one, but they gave it like an abridged feeling. Like they didn't like, because like we'll talk about it. We had an episode where it was like, oh, it was more heavily focused on Team Rocket, and it wasn't about the main characters.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It was
and
an episode that had like a bunch of little shorts in it instead of a whole episode. Ooh.
yeah, and this is where I also start to notice Chloe, like, is something. How would you guys describe Chloe's personality? Like, how would you describe it to like a new fan of the series?
She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, so she follows the people that seem like they know what they want to do in life and hopes that by following them, she'll find out what she wants to do with her life, even though she's really unsure of everything.
Okay, but
Quite literally everything.
I guess what I mean is like the first several episodes of Journey, she was kind of dismissive towards Ash and go, not outright hatred, but just kind of I just kind of want to do my own thing. It seems like ever since she caught Eevee, that's been completely thrown out the window. And I don't think it's for the better, because it's not like she slowly started to open up and become like a friendlier person. It just seems like, oh, I caught an Eevee, so now I'm super happy now. Like I don't know. It kind of it doesn't completely bother me, but it takes me out of it a little. It's kind of confusing.
Also, wasn't this the episode where they were like, hey, you guys, go look for fossils? And then she was like, hey, Chloe, what are you going to do? And she was just like, oh, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't think I'm going to. And then right as they're about to walk out the door, she was like, hey, can I go with them? I'm going to go with them. And then she walks and follows behind them. And I'm just like, didn't you just say you didn't want?
Yeah, it's confusing. Anyways, Richard, what happened in this episode? What more happened in this episode?
Well, we get to meet the eccentric scientists that invented the Pokemon of the fossil Pokemon of Galar.
These people were I will say, I appreciate that they're trying to make characters of the day more memorable. Well, it doesn't always work, but I at least give them points for trying. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, it's nice to see that the side characters have more of a impactful role in the show overall.
Yeah,
I just don't know how I feel about the fact that the scientists are like, well, here are the two fossil Pokemon of this region, and then they create the other two, and it's like, wait, how does science work in this way? How did we not just create dead things?
I'm not 100% sure. Didn't they also make curry in this episode?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also, they're introducing small things about Galar, which I appreciate, but they're not really going into it as much as I'd like. But overall, like, I would have enjoyed this episode more had we not gotten a previous fossil episode beforehand. And Ash catches a Dracovish. Is that how they pronounce it?
Yeah, I think that is how they pronounce
And
it.
it sounds like a pervy old man. Like, it sounds like how Master Roshi would sound if I had never heard his voice before.
Uh,
Like, it's high pitched and kind of strange.
I don't really remember the cries of either of the Pokemon that are created.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm sorry for you guys who want us to specifically point out what Pokemon Go catches, but it's so difficult because he catches something like every episode, sometimes
which we're
multiple
gonna talk
things.
about.
Oh,
We're gonna talk about that.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So Chloe's all happy, like, yay, I got to do all this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Hey, nice to know that you're happy, but like, where the hell did that come from? Anyways,
Yeah.
next episode.
All right. The next episode is Trials of a Budding Master. It is the first Farfetch'd episode. It takes place
Okay.
when they go to see the Geodudes at Rock Tunnel because there's
Okay,
an
so I had
explosion.
my episodes mixed up. That's on me. This is the episode where I should have had that rant about him not being a good freaking trainer because his Farfetch smacks him around with at least every other chance he get. Like literally, he's just like, "Hey, Farfetch, you want to go train?" Smack. Like, yo, I'm trying to help you. Why are you doing this to me? It's wild, man.
Yeah, but he battles somebody's girder, and did you remember the name of the trainer himself, Richard?
Not this trainer. I think I might have the other one. Yeah.
Well,
it's-
okay, but anyways, this guy with the girder, I'm gonna be honest, the battle itself I really enjoyed. It lasted a little longer than I thought it was going to, but it was still a cool battle. Like Farfetch looked good, Girder looked good. There wasn't too many distractions. It was more or less just straight up battle of Ash versus apparently Macho Man Randy Savage, because that's exactly what he sounded like.
You're not wrong. Yeah,
Forgot about
oh,
that.
yeah, brother.
You gotta find the Mega Stone to evolve your Pokemon. Dig it. It basically maybe they got Jay Lethal to do it. I'm not sure.
That would be great. I'm sorry. That would be great.
Yeah, but overall, it's a really good battle, but it doesn't end there. Or Ash's Farfetch does beat the trainer's Girder, and we see somebody. We see somebody with green hair, a Gallade, and is somebody who's pretty soft spoken. And no, it's not Wally.
It's what? Oh,
As much as I would love that, it's Rinto. Oh, but then again, I couldn't really tell if it was Rinto because he was talking so quietly. I had my laptop speakers turned up completely, and I still could barely hear the guy.
yeah.
I had to go up and relook up his name, which is on the final episode. That's why
which is so sad to me because when he is introduced, literally from the jump, he is introduced before he even said the word. He's introduced to somebody that's like, oh, he's gonna be the main foil to Ash's like journey as a Pokemon master. He's gonna be the guy that like, oh, you want to get better, you're gonna have to beat me, and like. His name is just so forgettable because he only shows up in like what 3 episodes out the entire season. I think.
Well, so far it's only been 2, but I'm sure
See?
I'm sure he'll show up more. But at the same time, yeah, like I gave Journeys credit a couple of reviews ago about how I like how different it feels, but now part of me is kind of wondering. I kind of miss the old stuff because I appreciate them for doing different stuff, but at the same time, it kind of feels all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just haven't like Ash seems to jump a lot in this, like because we don't see all his battles. So it's like 2 episodes ago he was rank 1000. Now he's rank 300. It's like,
Yep.
wait, how did he jump like that much?
Well, to be fair, the worst part about Ash for me is he barely seems to use all of his Pokemon. Like, I can't tell you the last episode Gengar was involved in anything.
Which it bothers me. Actually, it more than bothers me because Gengar is literally like my top 3 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like,
It seems more interested in hanging out with Red and Francois the Magnemite, which, I mean, I don't blame it for that, but because Francois the Magnemite is so far the best character in this whole show, but still.
Mhm.
but
Anyway.
I'm disappointed.
And
Man.
he does make an appearance in this.
Yes, he does. But Rinto challenges Ash to a battle. Rinto's Gallade versus Ash's Farfetch. Farfetch, still not having completely recovered from the battle against Girder, obviously loses, and Rinto kind of just... I'm not going to say he's downright disrespectful, but he's
Oh,
kind
he
of...
is. Oh, he's downright disrespectful. I don't know.
Mhm.
No, don't you try to soften it because
No,
even
no,
before the battle
guess-
was finished,
I guess
the
my
battle
thing
was
for
still
me is I
strong.
expect far worse from Ash's rivals. Like I've
Okay.
seen Paul, Paul and Gary. Those are pretty much the main. Those are pretty much the main jerks when it comes to being in Ash's life. Rinto was just kind of, by comparison, he wasn't too bad.
But you
He just
gotta,
kind of
but you
pointed out
gotta.
the obvious.
Yeah, which is what Tripp did, and everybody hated him for it. But sure, okay.
But the thing about it, it's not the fact that he pointed out the obvious. It's the God Almighty. I'm sorry, that was a huge ass bird flying out over my window, and like
Maybe it's
this
Team
huge-
Rocket's Pelipper.
that would be terrifying. But the thing about it is like it's not the fact that he pointed out the obvious that made it disrespectful. It's the fact that he said it as if he was all like know it all before the battle was even finished. He was just like, your Farfetch'd is so untrained, is so just, it's never gonna be a League Master. And then he proceeds to whoop his ass. And then he's just like, I told you, it's trash.
To be
Do
fair,
better,
like I
scrub.
said, Ash barely spends any time with most of his party in this series. So maybe he saw the episodes ahead of time. He's like, you know what? This is a fair point. Overall, though, I enjoyed this episode. Cameos by Macho Man Randy Savage aside, it was a pretty fun episode. I want more wrestlers into the Pokemon anime.
You know, that would be pretty
I-
cool.
God, it took me a minute to figure out like all the Pokemon Ash has had in this season. It's like, he has a Dragonite now, the Gengar.
He has a
this,
Dragonite, that's right.
now a Surfetch'd. Spoiler alert. Pikachu and
Lucario?
Lucario.
Yeah.
Had a
yeah.
fucking Lucario that we only see like once throughout the entire, like, how do you, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here. How do you have a Pokemon that is quite literally one of the biggest arcs of the season/series that preceded this one? You have established that this is a continuation of that. How do you have one of the biggest, literally the biggest part of that last like show was the arc of Riolu
Lucario.
and Cinderace's first form. First form. I can never remember.
Well, first
Raboot.
there's Raboot, and then there's before that is
Score Bunny.
Score Bunny. That's
Thank
right.
you. So but that's the thing. You get Score Bunny and Riolu, and that's their arc, is them training to get stronger together because they are the freaking, like, they're the two that, like, we established that, like, it wasn't Score Bunny and Pikachu. Pikachu is old as shit. Pikachu honestly should probably be dead as long as it's been alive. Like, fuck. Anyway. Oh my god, there are going to be some angry comments under my streams for that one.
I mean, we've already had the conversations of, is Raihan black, and we don't all like Snow Bunny. So I feel like at this point, everything's fair game.
But as I was saying, that was the arc, was Riolu and Score Bunny getting stronger. Fucking Go kept Cinderace. Where the fuck is Lucario?
I think I do have, like, this doesn't necessarily excuse it, but I think what explains it is, in my opinion, it's kind of seems like what they're doing is, okay, each Pokemon is kind of going to get its own little mini arc, because we got it for Lucario, and now we're kind of getting it with Farfetch'd.
And I feel like that's a little bit unfair considering the fact that, my God, this man has more than a full team worth of Pokemon. And we are no closer to figuring out what his final team to face Leon, because we all know it's coming, than we were when we started Pokemon Journeys.
Yeah.
I
think my issue is mainly just a lot of the battles Ash has are one-on-one. If it was like, hey, you get to pick these 3 Pokemon, or you get to pick these 2 Pokemon, even then I could find a way to live with it. But it seems like it's just one Pokemon apiece. Like, okay, what if you get lucky? Like, I don't know.
Also, let's be honest, Rento's Galate probably would still clean sweep Ash's team. He's not a good trainer. It's just, we gotta call a spade here, man.
Yeah. Overall, though, like I said, I did still really like this episode, just because, if any Pokemon episode that has Macho Man Randy Savage in it has to be trying something. What's the next episode?
All right. So, God, how long is this title? It is, how are you gonna keep them off of something. I can't see the full name of the title. Let's see.
God.
Nope, I literally can't see the full name of the title. It's the Diglett episode.
How are you gonna keep them off the farm?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
just
this
yeah,
episode.
I didn't like this episode, but I'm gonna be honest. Part of the first kind of thing I laugh is I don't like when all three of Ash, Go, and Chloe all say the name of the episode. Oh, it's a nitpick, and I'll completely give that up. I don't know. It just feels kind of clunky. Like, just have one of them say it. Like, might as well have Chloe do it, because what else is she doing in this series?
Oh,
Yeah.
But they basically go out and they go to a friend of Professor Cerise's, and he has a farm that they have to protect from Diglett and Dog Trio.
also, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Why the hell are we just finding out that we had 4 seasons in the last show and we did not hear about his friend with the farm not once, but all of a sudden, oh my goodness, my farm is getting overtaken by a bunch of Digletts and Doug Trios. I mean,
I wish he had talked like that.
Where in the hell was he this entire last season? Like, what in the hell? I am disappointed.
Professor Cerise is a very bad friend.
Where was he? Clearly, this isn't something that just popped up overnight. Like, obviously, this man has been struggling for at least a few weeks. Where have you been?
You seem to, I find it hilarious that you said you enjoyed this part, but you've had about 4 or 5 rants already, and we're not even halfway through the episodes.
Oh, no. As a whole, the thing is, as a whole and consuming it as a whole, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I can disperse my enjoyment with my criticism and say this was bad in this episode, even though I enjoyed it. Like how I do with Avatar: The Last Airbender. I enjoyed the show as a whole, but I can display the parts of it that were ass and the parts that were set for plot armor.
You are a lot better than most people I know, because most people I know only see the good stuff. Anyways, speaking of good stuff, this episode didn't have that much of that, in my opinion. Like, they kind of established that they were trying to work with Chloe because she's, I guess, the strategist between the 3 of them, because Lord knows it isn't Ash.
The one person that actually has no reason to be a strategist is the best strategist of all of them. And that makes no sense to me, because it's like, if you're going to give her that level of knowledge and that level of insight, then why not have her be a trainer? Why not have her be a contestant, do contests?
Well, I think it might be and they haven't really done that great of a job showcasing it. I think it could be because Chloe, if everybody had left her alone about it and she had become a researcher, she would have been fine with it. But I think it's because people pushed her into it so much. That's why I hated being a mass media major so much, because people kept pushing me towards it. I'm like, I don't want to be here. Not in this major, just in general. But once again, they might not be going that route. But overall, Go catches a Diglett and a Doug Trio. Chloe's the one who kind of shows them how to do it and everything. And they meet up with Team Rocket, who are apparently causing the Diglett and the Doug Trio stuff. And all of a sudden, they're attacking them and everything. I'm like, Team Rocket didn't do anything wrong or illegal in this. You guys, I don't know. There are times I feel like Team Rocket should just be like, we're not doing anything wrong. Why don't you guys go away?
Which, I mean, they kind of said that. They kind of said that when they popped up and they were like, Team Rocket, you're going to Diglett. And they're just like, bro, we're just chilling. We're taking a nap. They were up there taking naps.
Yeah.
They were up there.
Didn't they have some weird contraption in this episode too?
Yeah, they brought in one of their giant robots, I think.
Where the hell they hiding them robots at, bro?
To be fair, they brought up a lot in the Ruby and Sapphire series that those robots cost a lot of money, so they couldn't exactly just pull them out whenever they wanted.
I'm sure they're
there's really not much more about this episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're sorry, guys, but a lot of these episodes just don't have a lot in them. That's not to say they're bad episodes, because Pokemon can have some good to really great filler episodes, but there's just not a whole lot in some of these. We're sorry. Y'all know we try to be positive and see the good in the bad, or just see the good in general, but it's getting harder.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I went into this. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I went into this saying, "Oh God, the last one left a less than desirable taste in my mouth by the end of it. I went in hoping that this one would not be at least on the same level, and it exceeded my expectation. So I'm giving it as much as I can here, even though I've had a rant about every single episode so far.
Yeah, it did, and also Go left. I was it his Diglett it behind at the farm to make
It was the
things
Doug
easy?
Trio.
Okay,
It was the Doug
yeah.
Trio because the Doug Trio
They're-
was the leader of the
Right,
Diglets,
okay.
and yeah,
And they're working on the farm now.
Yeah,
Right,
I did appreciate that side of Go because it's not just like, oh, I've caught it, so I'm keeping it by my side because you wouldn't use it anyway. It's just more of a, hey, you need this more than I do, so even though technically it's mine, I'm still gonna let you use it.
But
All right.
my big gripe, and I will say this, I'm gonna leave it alone. My big gripe about this is a whole episode type gripe too. You spent the entire episode trying to figure out ways to get rid of the Diglett and Doug trio, but then by the end of the episode, once you realized, hey, I can figure out how to use these Diglets and Doug trio as free labor, I'm gonna use them on my farm. Then it's not a freaking problem. I don't know.
I think
Maybe
he's feeding them though.
okay, come on. Oh, you work on my farm. I feed you the things that you helped produce.
Hey, I'm not in the writers. Hey, don't get snippy with me, man. I'm not in the writers' room.
I'm just saying that seemed like a lazy out. Oh, you're working on my farm, so I'm going to feed you the things that you made possible by working on my farm.
There's a political commentary to be had about that, but not in this video. Anyways, next episode.
Oh, okay.
Next
Healing
episode.
the healer. Healing the healer is the name of the next episode.
Oh damn!
This
Okay, healing the healer. Okay, all right, hold on. Stop. I want Richard to go first with this. I want to hear because we've been talking over Richard. And I feel bad. Richard, what are your thoughts? Should we do a rundown or just tell us your thoughts on this episode?
please run down first.
Well, I'm just gonna so pretty much this is the infamous Sweet Coon episode that I think we were all spoiled for beforehand. I
Yeah.
knew about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew about it.
Yep.
I mean, if you've seen Pokemon the fourth movie, you've seen this episode minus Celebi. It's just that movie, but Sweet Coon's the main character instead of Celebi.
Yeah, then I don't think the Pokemon Forever was particularly impressive either. So maybe not a good starting point.
But I mean, it's literally the same plot except for instead of going after Celebi, they're going after Sweet Coon.
Okay, so basically they're a bunch of hunters and they're going after, and Ash and Go get to like this forest area and they see it's pretty much rotting. It's basically a dying forest. Suicune shows up, it heals everything, and then it turns out there are some hunters that are polluting the area, so Suicune will come in. Purposely doing it so that Suicune will come out and then they can capture it. But they don't capture it like with Pokeballs because I guess that'd be too easy. Like they try putting a rope around its neck and like doing that sort of thing, which I've never really understood why villains don't just use regular Pokeballs. Like it feels like ropes and stuff almost never work.
It's because, and this is my theory on that. It's because it's easier to catch them in a net so they can't run away, but they can break out of Pokeballs apparently. Like they can break out of the Pokeballs, but if we put them in this net, they can't actually run because the net gets them tangled up. So.
I guess so. Oh, but Ash and Go, not being total idiots, actually step up and be like, hey, you guys can't be doing that. And was Go the one who said we should contact Officer Jenny?
Yes.
I feel like that role would have been better suited for Ash, but I'm not going to get into why.
Ash is an idiot.
Yeah, but no, not going to talk about it. Not going to talk
Ash
about
is an idiot. He's not the one that would have called Officer Jenny. I'm just saying. 3 a.m, somebody breaks in his house. He's not going to call the police. He's going to try to fight the person.
Yeah, but I feel. Yeah, but Go. Anyways. Hey, so they start sending out the poison Pokemon, the poison Suicune. They put the rope around its neck and Go. And this was actually kind of a smart way, and I didn't think it'd go about it this way. Go decides if I catch it in a Pokeball, they won't be able to like do anything about it. Suicune gets poisoned a bit. It gets in the Pokeball, shakes, click. Go caught a Suicune. When I first saw this, I had to pause the episode. Like that was kind of easy.
Yeah, no.
I would have been okay. Let me put it to you this way: I don't necessarily love this, but if he had like an ultra ball or like a dive ball or just something corresponding to it and being more powerful, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's
And
cool.
that's
And
where my gripes come in with this episode, is the fact that, like, literally we've established in canon that there are other Pokemon, stronger
Mhm.
Pokemon that they can use to catch stronger Pokemon. So why on God's green earth, when you have one of the strongest Pokemon in existence standing in front of you, you can catch it with a Pokeball meant for catching Rattatas?
He should have done change.
Why?
He should have done a change up like he did with that one Farfetch'd in that episode.
I'm just saying, like, anything. He literally just goes, eh. Like, he lobbed it at the freaking Suicune. He didn't like put power into it, nothing. He just went, Kobe.
If he
RIP
had
to the
said
legend.
Kobe, I would have been okay with it.
And it's just like, bro, I get he was poisoned. I get he was hurt. But, like, we've established legendary Pokemon aren't to be caught. They aren't catchable. In this continuity, they aren't catchable unless they want to be. In that moment,
Mhm.
Suicune did not want to be caught.
You
He
know,
wanted to be let go.
you know what? Want to know what would have made this cool?
Yeah.
Is if Suicune thought to itself, you know, I don't necessarily trust this kid, but I trust him a lot more than I trust these hunters. So for now,
Which is
had he
established.
gotten in the Pokeball by itself, it would have been cool. And then Ash kind of holds off the hunters and go. Basically, he finds a bunch of Pokemon that Suicune was apparently helping take care of. He
After he
feeds them
drops
all.
the Pokeball, by the way, let's talk about that. They're trying to run away, and he goes, "Oh no!" And he drops the Pokeball. Suicune goes, "Fuck you, Nancy boy," and he runs away. And it's like, what the fuck just happened?
And
What the
yeah, but
Yeah.
eventually they heal Suicune. When Suicune fights alongside Professor Jenny, Officer Jenny shows up and they arrest the guy.
Mhm.
He's
Not a frozen and an ice ball. I wanted to mention that.
go basically comes out and's like, okay, well, we saved you, so you should go. So you should go because it wouldn't be right for me to capture you. Which I was like, okay, I like that. I thought he caught but it's a legendary, so he's okay with just letting go. That's perfectly fine. And Suicune's like, no, I want to stay. I'm like, why? They get back to the
And
lab
Then
and
no.
that's
and now Suicune, we haven't seen Suicune since in the episodes.
But my big problem, and I'll leave it alone after this.
Are you sure?
I'll try my best to leave it alone after this. We have done this with non-legendary Pokemon in the past. It has been established that Pokemon are likely to, when they respect a trainer, they will go with them. They will go along with them. But Suicune was established before this to be the protector of forest, to be the protector of the wildlife. Why? Why have him? And yes, I understand at the end of the episode it disappears, so it's not there anymore. But, like, why would you have him go in the first place if you're gonna have him disappear at the end? If you're
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
didn't
have
like
him
that.
be a
Mhm.
companion, if you're not gonna have him be a companion and travel with them at the very least, hell, having him go to the lab and just be there at the lab is one thing. But if you're not gonna have him do anything, why have him say, "Oh, I respect you now, so I'm gonna go with you now"? Like, that's dumb.
You know what would have been really cool is if
What?
even if Go had kept the Pokeball, kept Suicune's Pokeball, stay in the forest area, but kind of do what Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did, like have some type of mechanism that says, "Hey, Suicune, if you're ever in trouble, we'll come help you." Like just in case you get ganged up on or the force, or have a situation where Suicune senses, "Oh snap, something's going on," and it heads to Go and helps him. Now,
Mhm.
maybe that could happen. That could happen. Maybe we're not watching the Japanese version, so who knows? But a messy episode, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a bad episode. I like that he's showing his humane side, and I do like how I liked how the villains got dealt with. Like I said, a messy episode, but by no means do I consider it to be a horrible episode.
Also, I'm gonna say this because this episode that it isn't something bad. This isn't anything bad. I just wanted to say this. Can we have more run-of-the-mill villains. Like, we have Team Rocket, which at this point, I don't even consider them villains. I don't. I consider them to be the plot devices that help move episodes along. But like, can we have more run-of-the-mill? Like, villains that won't stay for more than maybe an episode or two, but are there to help drive the story and give our story meaning. It would be a lot more impactful if an episode where they're trying to save a Pokemon, they're getting treated badly by a gang that's been terrorizing a city for like 5 years or something. That would make it better because it would give it more depth. It would give the world, the underworld of Pokemon, more depth other than just the big named villain societies of each region. You
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I agree. And Sun and Moon did that once. So anyway, the next episode, Sobble spies a stealthy strategy. I think I liked this episode, but I don't know. Oh, this episode was kind of conflicting for me.
All in all, I'll say, and I'm gonna leave this one. I'm gonna leave it at this. All in all, I think this episode was good because it did what I had a problem with earlier. It established more than one Pokemon as getting some spotlight and getting some growth. So I'll say that. I'll kind of leave it alone because all in all, I will say this was a good, like, this was one of the better episodes for me, just because I was like, "Aw, the Sobble is being a Sobble. It scares easier than it cries, but it sees an Inteleon and it's like, oh snap, I want to be that one day," and it has some growth. And
Yeah.
of course, you don't get to see that growth overnight. That's another thing that I love. Go even literally says that you don't get strong overnight, and I was like, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I do find it kind of weird though how it's like, oh, we're on the set of this movie. I'm like, how many movies are being filmed that they just so happen and to be near? It feels like
All of
every
them.
season there are like a handful of episodes where like, oh, let's go to this movie set because we're like 3 feet away from it. Okay.
All of them. Exactly. That's what I said. They go to every Pokemon set or every movie set. All of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically there's a movie with an Inteleon that's basically just a James Bond thing. And Sobble sees Inteleon and wants to be strong like it, so it practices its hiding ability with Go, Ash, and Cinderace, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was Cinderace.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they run into like Team Rocket ends up trapping them in one of their like cave hideouts, which I thought that whole segment of it was pretty cool. And didn't Sobble learn a new attack too?
Didn't know Water Gun before.
U-turn. It learned U-turn
That's right. Yeah.
because it returned to its Pokeball after the attack.
Ah,
Yeah. Overall, it's not like you said. I like the fact that Sobble got something to do, and I especially like how, like you said, it's not like it evolved or anything. It's just like, oh, it trained this one time, and there were moments throughout the rest of the episodes where it was still training. It didn't happen immediately. Like, we're giving it time. I mean, I appreciate it. What did you think, Richard?
Yeah, you guys pretty much have said everything. There's nothing more to this episode.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, to be fair, a lot of these episodes don't have a lot as far as meat and bones. It's just,
yeah. Well, but I will say though, I don't know if it was this episode in particular, but I always love when James calls Meowth old chum. Like it's such a wholesome thing. But I appreciate I will always appreciate the dynamic of Team Rocket.
I said this earlier about Pikachu. I say the same thing about Meowth. As long as that thing has been around, it should honestly probably be pushing up daisies.
9 lives. It's 9 lives.
They've already said he's gone through 8 of them, so
Yeah, there we
that was
go.
like back in Johto.
See,
I think they could make jokes about death and
and
get
as
away
many
with
times,
it.
and as many times that they get blown up, he's probably on like negative 150.
Next
All
episode.
right. The Tales of You and Glimwood Tangle.
Okay, a Chloe focused episode. Richard, go first with this.
So this episode has them going because they're trying to see the Galarian form of Ponyta and Rapidash. I'm trying to remember why exactly they want to.
Chloe has like a vision of it being hurt because she reads a book or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And so they go to the Glimwood Tangle. Chloe gets separated from Ash and Go, who run into the fairy gym leader of Galar, and she starts quizzing them about not wearing enough pink, pretty much.
Yeah, and throughout the episode, like, we kind of cut in between them because Chloe's helping an injured Rapidash, and they run into the Grimace Snarl. Is that what they're called?
Like it's Grimmsnarl or
Yeah, that's
But
what,
it's the first one. It's, I think, Impidimp.
yeah,
Yeah.
very good. Look, and they're kind of being mischievous about it, but and it turns out it's like, oh, they just want to play, which I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, that's fine. And it shows Chloe getting along with more and more Pokemon, which is cool to see. The Ponyta and the Eevee, they help heal Rapidash. It's honestly, this is kind of the problem, because this doesn't have a long-term impact on anything so far. It just seems like they're test running Chloe, which I feel like should have been gotten out of the way like several episodes ago.
should have did it in Journeys, man.
Yeah,
wanted-
it's the part I'm running into an issue with is, what is Eevee doing? Because this is like the 5th move we've seen Eevee use at this point.
Isn't it copycat or mimic?
It might be Mimic, I guess, because it's not replacing moves, it seems like, but
Yeah,
they've never quite mentioned it.
That would
Yeah,
make sense.
they actually did mention it a couple of different times. I just couldn't remember exactly what the move was called.
Well, I don't remember them saying, "Oh, Eevee's using Mimic." And
Yeah, they
that's what
said
it's doing.
they said that in like one of the first episodes. The moves use copycat.
Which it makes sense, since the first time we see it, it's freaking copying other
Yeah, it's
evolutions.
copying the other Evolutions moves.
Okay, I don't remember them actually saying that it's using a move copycat. I just remember it saying, "Oh, it's copying the other Pokemon." It's like, okay, what is it actually doing? Is it learning these moves? What is it doing?
No, but yeah, it's like a one-time thing. Not to mention, when Opal, the gym leader, she's questioning them, she's putting more and more pink clothes on Ash, Go, Pikachu, and Cinderace, who are all seemingly miserable, except Cinderace, who actually manages to pull it off and seems to enjoy it. Like, I actually this.
I love the fact that they brought her in, because even in the game, she's just like that. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
I appreciate y'all for keeping her the same from the game to the TV show, because man, they don't do that all the time.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's like one of the few Galar characters that actually gets like showcased in this.
Yes, because we've only seen 3 of the gym leaders so far.
You see, fans, when you keep asking for characters to return in Journeys, which I'm fine with, it might take away from some of the Galar characters, and I'd rather have more Galar characters than like returning characters for the 10th or 15th time.
But we have 7 more gym leaders that need to be introduced from Galar, because counting both games.
Yeah, that's a good point. But overall, it honestly an okay episode. Not a horrible episode, but like kind of I don't know. I want more for Chloe. I want more than just what we're getting.
Yes.
Part of my issue with it was that they almost tried to make it seem like, was it a dream thing, and at the end, and then they either didn't commit all the way, because don't they have, Chloe, don't you have to finish that report or something about going there? So it's like, okay, you should have either gone, oh, it was a dream, or no, it wasn't.
I feel like she gets special treatment in that class. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, we know Go does already. He doesn't have to show up except for test day.
That's not fair. Anyways, next episode, Searching for Chivalry. I actually really liked this episode. I thought this was a really solid episode. I love the episodes because it's about Ash and his Farfetch'd and Go and Scizor, right?
Scyther at this time.
It was Scyther at the time. I like the fact that they're actually showing them like training it. To me, that was one of the best parts of the Ruby and Sapphire series. When Ash's Pokemon wanted to learn a move, he would take the time to train that Pokemon with a variety of different methods to help it master it. It made him actually look like a pretty damn good trainer. And this is another instance of that, because they go through a maze, and they're helped by by one of the Elite Four, they said?
Yeah. what's his name? It's one of the Kalos Elite Four.
Yeah.
Wilkstrom.
Yeah. Wilkstrom was kind of odd, if I'm being completely honest, because he was all chivalrous like a knight, but whenever they showed like the slice in of, no, we're going to keep working hard, we're going to keep doing our best, he started crying about it. Like, he was so proud. I don't know. It was
right.
Yeah, also, they have this really cool thing where at the end it's like, oh, hey, you guys are going to fight against us. And it shows like Ash and Go are actually kind of proactively getting involved in this battle. It's a really cool thing. And honestly, I'd like more if the games could do stuff like this. It's like puzzles and mazes with specific type of Pokemon. It was cool. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be nice if if we ever go back to an Elite Four, that they actually become involved in the story, because they're not involved in the story. It's just like, oh, we're the top 4 trainers. We don't deal with the actual criminal element. The champion might be part of that, but
yeah, well, then
they
just leave it up to a 10-year-old and his friends.
Like, at
Look,
least have them be part of it.
They see the trash that's going on, and they're just like, that 10-year-old's got it. We're fine.
To be fair, there is a quote in one of the Pokemon games where somebody says, "Oh, do you think the Elite Four should get involved with this stuff?" And then somebody typed in the comment section, they said, "Well, it'd be better than a 10-year-old doing it," but sure. Overall, though, it's a fun episode. It's nice to see how well Ash and his Farfetch get along, because there were times where it didn't, like you said, Ed, it was kind of rebellious and because it just wanted to get stronger, and it was kind of getting ignored for a good bit. But this episode established that, and they even followed up with it at the end of this season. So I thought it was a very strong episode.
Oh yeah.
So my question, though, is the device that they use at the end of the episode, because this is the episode where they involve Scizor, or Scyther into Scizor. Is that an actual thing that just, okay, it mimics trading, or is it an actual trade and then they traded back? Because they don't show them trading back.
Well, they said it transfers it. They never specifically said trade, but it does kind of piss me off how it's just like, oh, well, you don't even have to trade your Pokemon, technically. I'm like, that would have been nice for me when I was a kid, and I didn't have any friends who lived by me who I could trade with. But
literally,
you do, y'all do you. But like I said, that's a minor for me. Good to great episode. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the best episode of this entire season.
Oh, good. What? Why don't you tell us the name of the next episode, buddy?
Memories of a Warm Kindness. So this is another Chloe-centered episode.
This was one of those episodes that I pretty much did not like until the very end. This was kind of one of those episodes for me, which was, it honestly kind of fell into the range of so bad it's good. Like, the ending saved it for me. But so, you've been quiet, Toonz. What do you think? Is this another rant?
No. Not another rant. All in all, I literally went into the episode. I was like, Chloe's gonna be in the episode. Yeah. And I was like halfway through, I was like, I kind of want to just skip this episode, man.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's funny that you say that because I'm gonna read the description that Netflix has for it. While Ash and Go take advantage of a cold snap to search for ice Pokemon, Chloe enjoys some girls' time with lab assistant and Krissa at her apartment. I initially thought, because they've done this before in series, I thought this was going to be the first half of this episode is the Ash and Go stuff. The second half of this episode is going to be the Chloe stuff. So admittedly, I got thrown off because of that. But basically, Ash and Go they basically go off, and Go really wants to catch an Ice-type Pokemon. Meanwhile, everybody at Chloe's house just kind of seems to be dipping. Like, it's like her little brother, whose name I keep forgetting, has to go to a sleepover. Her mom's off doing something else. So she ends up hanging out with one of the lab assistants, Krissa. And they go to her apartment, and she notices Krissa has a lot of Psyduck themed stuff, like kind of an unhealthy amount.
Yeah, a healthy amount of plushies and dolls and pictures and
Pretty much everything she
blankets
owns
and
is Psyduck.
pillows.
Yeah, when we start getting plushes and pictures and stuff like that, I hope one of our fans has that level of dedication. Otherwise, we have failed
Oh,
as a
absolutely.
podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
But then Chloe, like, because Evie looks around and knocks over a picture, and it's a picture of Krissa, a Psyduck, and a man. And Chloe gets kind of, I don't want to say invasive about it, but
She gets invasive about
one of
it.
you talk.
She gets invasive about it. She was like,
Yeah.
"Who is this? Where did you meet him from? Why do you have this picture of him? What's going on here?
You know,
is this your boyfriend?"
You know, Pokemon, just because they're girls doesn't mean they all have to be fixated on romance. But especially, like I said, since Chloe just seemed very dismissive at the beginning of Journeys, and now she's like bubbly and happy, just like the rest of them.
Also, Chloe's like what, 11?
At most.
Yeah,
She's like 11. I don't know about y'all, but when I was 11, I wasn't interested in romance or anything of the nature. I was interested in being a Pokemon master.
Yeah.
I had the games. I was boss. I was trying to get all the Pokemon, and I was trying to get all the legendaries. That was my only, like that, and learning how to play the trombone were my two things at the age of 11.
Well, to be fair, I'm 25 and I'm still kind of at the same boat. Like, I'd rather be a Pokemon trainer.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, so there's just a little bit too much coincidence in this episode for my taste.
It's like, oh, Ash and go to a ramen shop. And they meet up with the same person who was in the picture with his Psyduck.
How convenient. This
Yeah.
is another one of those plot armor things I was talking about.
Yeah. But we do get a little bit of Chris's backstory. Like, she was studying and she had a big report coming up. She got flustered and stressed out by it, and the man with the Psyduck cheered her up, or so we thought at first. And basically, it's and she's kind of like, oh, I never got the chance to thank him, and I'm like, I would love to. I'm sure that several random strangers would love me to find them and thank them for the one little thing they did for me. Overall, and Chloe just sort of, they all get back to the place, and Chloe's like, oh yeah, and Chloe's like, what did you guys do? It's like Ash and Go are like, oh well, we saw this guy with a Psyduck, and she's like, what? Where is he? And we're like, we don't know. Oh, she basically drags them out to find them. They find him again, and Chloe pretty much grabs him with the Eldritch Will, and they show up at the lab, and Chris sees him, and she's like, I never thought I'd see you again. And I'm like, you met him once. Please relax. Literally all of a sudden, she starts like lowering herself. I'm like, oh my! I'm like, I thought one of two things. I thought either A, is she about to fall and collapse? Like, is she working too hard? Or B, I thought, whoa, this is a kid's show. Come on. And all of a sudden, she hugs the Psyduck.
Because it was the Psyduck all along.
That's what got me. That's when I started laughing. Like, okay, that saved the episode. Chris is weird for me. I like her, but at the same time, I'm a little weirded out by her at times, and she seems like she should be normal.
But shouldn't Ash and Go have more reason to thank them? He bought them both like all their dinner at the ramen shop.
An extra bowl of ramen each. You have a good point. Not to mention, Krissa looks a little too similar to, I don't remember the professor's name, but the one in X and Y, the one who Clement really knew, the one who Bonnie said, oh, you should marry my brother. Like, they looked a bit too similar for me. Like, maybe
when Clement was in school, you're talking about the episode where they get Luxray, right?
Yeah, that. You know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, though, it's kind of a so bad it's good sort of episode because it's goofy. Chloe gets a bit on my nerves in the episode, but I feel like everybody else kind of saves it.
Yeah, I think the ending saves this episode with it being it's the Psyduck that she likes.
That's what. Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh my god, thank you, Chloe," and Chloe's like, "What the hell did I sign up for?"
And that's the thing. Chloe is the reason for all of it, and then at the end, she's just like, dang.
Maybe this episode shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have. Should have had 11 episodes. Let that be that.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have our two-parter.
Oh
Oh.
boy. Wait,
Episode
two-parter?
10. A rollicking, rollicking.
Oh.
Frolicking roll, eyes on the goal.
I did not like either of these episodes.
Yeah, no. These episodes, these were the weakest in terms of like, no, it was the story. It was just the fact that like, oh my god, I don't know how to describe it. Just these two episodes alone were just like so. I literally was like, I felt like I wasted my time when I
Yeah.
watched these two episodes.
So Ash and Go get stuck in a rolling ball of like moss, trees, and other stuff thanks to an Alakazam and some gulpin. And Go literally has his head shoved up a gulpin at one point in the episode. There's no other.
Stuck up his
really-
ass. It was up his ass. Let's not splice hairs here. He was stuck up the gulpin's ass.
I was trying to find the more poetic way of putting it, but yeah.
Ain't nothing poetic about it. That episode wasn't poetic. We're not going to be poetic here.
Yeah, and they start walking back, and Ash kind of has to lead Go back to the lab, and we get a great, and for you shippers, we get a great shot of Ash and Go holding hands, if that's the kind of thing you're into. But
Which you shouldn't be, and you should feel ashamed of yourself.
hey, what? No, you don't like two? What? I was about to say, I'm fine with two boys being part of a ship, but it just doesn't seem. It seems different.
They're 12. They're like fucking
probably
12.
10. Probably 10.
Exactly. My thing is, I don't care. Ship who you want if they're of legal fucking age. I don't care if you like them. Just let them be legal.
I 100% agree. I'm covering for you in case somebody says, "Oh, what? You don't want two male characters to be together?" No, that's not. That's not the issue.
Thing. If anything, I love it when we get the opportunity to have male ships. I love that. But I want them to be legal ships. I want them both to be of legal age. Because my God, in a society now where it seems that we protect children above all else, why would you want to ship two cartoon, even if they're anime characters? They're underage. They're underage. I don't care if they're animated or not. They're underage. That's my biggest problem with the ship.
To be fair, I kind of just meant it as a passing joke. I didn't actually mean it as, oh, they're teasing something. They're actually doing it. I kind of just meant it as a passing little joke.
But I know that there are people out there that probably ship them. So that's why I'm just like, let's nip that in the bud. Also, Go, why are you so upset that your homie got to hold your hand to lead you, bro? Like, bro, it's
to be fair, I don't want Ash Ketchum touching me either. Then again, I just don't like people touching me. It has nothing to do with Ash. I just don't like people touching me.
I was about to say, you don't like when people touch you.
Yeah. It's basically like one of the first episodes of Chowder when they all get stuck in the ball and they're rolling down. Except Chowder finds a way of making it far more entertaining. This is just kind of boring. Especially because Chloe at one point's like, oh, guess I'm headed to school. Well, and then the giant ball just appears and they're like, what in the world is that? And I don't know. It was a very, I know it was a filler episode, and I know it was a silly episode, but it was a boring, silly episode. That's the worst part.
I think my one redeeming thing for this entire episode was when they were in the ball, and Ash was like, Go, we're bouncing around. And Go was like, are you enjoying this right now?
Yeah.
And he was just like, and he was like, you're enjoying this.
Yeah,
bro, we are literally rolling around with no sense of direction, and you're enjoying this chaos.
You see, this is why I know Ash would not do well in a horror movie, because he would go towards the danger.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
it's like that clip you showed me of the horror movie villain. It's just like, well, Ash runs to the danger, so I think he's going to be safe from this guy.
And it's
there is nothing really.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. We're going off on tangents, but there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, anyways, we're gone.
What's the next half of this episode? Does it get? No, it doesn't get better.
This is the return of Choodle from Team Rocket.
Yeah, I will say
probably the highlight of this episode is that part.
I will say I like that we get some time between Meowth and Wobbuffet, because I feel like Wobbuffet kind of feels like a fourth wheel at times. So it's nice to see that it's not just going to be Jesse James and Meowth. It's like, let's give Wobbuffet some screen time when he's not, like we were talking about last time, when he's not filming the twerps out of nowhere, and we're like, how the hell is he getting this footage? Overall, though, Chula wants to race a bunch of Pokemon with shells on their backs, like Turtwig and Squirtle and a whole bunch of this other stuff.
It was a turtle jamboree.
Yeah.
And they're
Meowth talks for a lot of them.
All these turtle Pokemon are jerks if Meowth is translating word for word.
I get the feeling he's not. I feel like he just likes to stir the pot, if we're being complete. Would it surprise you at all if he just like, I just love chaos?
No, that seems right.
Yeah, and the person who owns all the shell Pokemon pretty much sounds exactly like the Dracovish, or from earlier on, so I'm convinced they're probably the same voice actor.
Actually, I think it's Master Roshi.
Yeah, exactly.
It basically was Master
Yeah, that's
Roshi.
why I said Dracovish sounds like Master Roshi. Like we said though, not a great episode. What's the next?
Let's just move on, please.
Let's just move
So
on.
the next episode is When a House is Not a Home.
Okay, any Pokemon episode that has a Luther Vandross reference automatically has a good start for me.
And this is
so.
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if I could run down this episode. So this is the episode, and I'll admit that this episode could have been a lot worse for what it was on the surface. We open up, Go is having a dream where there's a Rillaboom in his house, and he's just, my God, he's so shocked. He was like, Rillaboom, what are you doing in my house? Ah! And he wakes up, and there's a Grookey in his room. And him and Ash and Pikachu and Mr. Mime are all like, where did this Grookey come from? Yeah. So they go about the episode, Grookey's being Grookey, silly, and like, it was just a bunch of silly nonsense. And then lo and behold, we find out who actually owns the Grookey, because Go tries to catch it and it doesn't work because Rotom actually says the thing that they always say in the trainer battles, that Pokemon belongs to somebody else. Don't be a thief.
Don't be a thief.
And I was like, a side note, I appreciate that they actually included that snippet, because I was like, damn, y'all are really bringing in stuff from the game to the show. I appreciate it.
And Grookey messed up Chloe's hair, made it all wild and out of control. I'm like, I like her hair like that. It looks good.
Fair.
And we learn who Grookey actually belongs
there we go.
to.
We learned who the Grookey actually belongs to. It's Team Rocket.
I actually really liked that plot twist. I liked that.
I think I didn't like the way that they went about it, because they made it seem like they didn't even know that the Grookey belonged to them. Whereas it would have been better had it been like, oh, the Grookey got out, realized who it would belong to, ran away, and that's why it ended up with Ash and Go, versus, oh, this Grookey is here. Oh, wow, Grookey. I'm not going to sit here and believe that this Grookey actually belongs to me. Return, Grookey. Oh my God, it actually belongs to us.
Yeah, but but one of the things that we kind of that they talk about is, while they're trying to find it, is Grookey kind of gets into some trouble with some other trainers and some of the other Pokemon.
Yeah.
Ran, one of the assistants, is like, oh, maybe it's one of Gengar's friends, and Gengar kind of appears behind him with the look that said, "What'd you say, buddy?" Which shows that at this point, Ren might as well be Gengar's trainer, because it's not Ash at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. Overall, though, Team Rocket gets Grookey back, and it loses the little stick in its head that goes in its head, and it smashes its Pokeball. All they find it again. Go catches it, and they're pretty much, that's it. It's a good episode. I do agree. I feel like the first half of it was kind of all over the place, but the second half was pretty strong, in my opinion.
My biggest problem with the with the beginning of the episode, my biggest problem is just how silly and over the top it is. But we got to see Mr. Mime unlocking Ultra Instinct, so there's some good and bad there.
What'd you think, Richard?
I enjoyed this episode, but does this actually mean that Ash, Go, and all of Ash's friends are better at stealing Pokemon than Team Rocket are, because they've actually stolen a Pokemon and gotten away with it now?
I didn't actually think about that, if we're being completely honest.
I mean, I'm trying to think. has Team Rocket successfully stolen any other Pokemon? They've caught wild Pokemon.
They
but...
stole those Voltorb in
Oh, yeah.
like season 1. They stole the Gloom perfume thing.
Oh wow.
But did that
nice.
last? Is my
No,
real
no, it
question.
didn't. Well, it lasted in their nostrils because the smell was awful. Well, the one thing I wish this episode, like just for a little bit of a gag, would have done is because we've seen in like the Diamond and Pearl series what happens when you hold the Pokemon. It's like, okay, Zigzagoon, return, and the red beam comes out. But we see what happens when that red beam hits like an actual human being. It's apparently stings them for a good bit. I wish we'd gotten to see that, but that's such a small thing in my opinion.
Another interesting thing to note, though, is that this is the first generation that Ash doesn't have a single one of the starter Pokemon.
Yeah, they just give them all to go, which I've said before. I'm not huge on when one person has all of the starters in a region. I don't like when Ash does it. I'm not huge on when Go does it, but at least makes sense for his goal. But I've grown to just accept it at this point.
That's fair.
All right. We have anything else to say about this episode?
Nope,
No.
it was fun, but a little too silly in the first half.
All right. So last episode is Beyond Chivalry, aiming to be a League Master, if I remember correctly. There's the name.
It's Ash and Rinto's rematch.
Mm-hmm. So this kind of wraps up Farfetched's total arc in this part, season, whatever we want to call it.
Let's just say part.
So I think their training is how this starts. And they're battling, and both Farfetch'd and is it Raboot or Scizor gets hurt.
Scizor.
So they run to the Pokemon Center and run into Rinto. And the main focus of this entire rest of the episode is the battle.
What was the point? What was the point of Grookey showing off its like flower healing thing and helping Bellsprout? What was the point of that? Because we got that in the episode beforehand. Oh, Grookey can use its like drum playing to heal flowers and stuff.
Just to show that he can do it.
Yeah, it didn't. Whatever. But like I said, like it's tough to talk about battles specifically, but I did enjoy this battle. I thought it was fun, and I do, like I said earlier, I do wish it was more than just one-on-one, because the fact that some of the Pokemon are lasting for as long as they are, I don't know, it kind of makes the attacks feel less important, and Gallade breaks the leak.
Mm-hmm. I really think that whatever the name of this tournament is, I keep forgetting it.
The Coronation Series?
Yeah. Really should have. Okay, when you're in the basic class or whatever they called the first class, that those could be all one-on-one. There's way more trainers, but when you get to great class, you have 2 to 3 Pokemon in each battle. Then when you're in Ultra, you have closer to a full team, maybe 3 or 4, and then Masters if you're in the top 10 or whatever it is that are the ranked master class, there are full Pokemon battles every single time. It's going to be a full battle. Then that way we could have seen, Leon and what's the other guy's Lance, and then Leon and what's the other guy? We've talked about him before in this.
Raihan. Yeah.
Both of
anyways,
them having full teams, that would be good.
Basically, though, and Farfetch gets knocked down for a bit, and Rinto's kind of trash talking for a good bit. Rinto, what was it? Farfetch gets up and kind of uses the broken off leak as a shield, and still has the sword part of it. And predictably, it evolves into Surfetch and ends up winning. But I think Rinto and his Gallade have a really cool battle style, in my opinion. I like like quote unquote stance changes it has, even if the last one it didn't do anything. But like I'd like to see more of them, but I'm not 100% sure that we'll get more of them.
They'll probably appear in like the final bit. They didn't get out of Ultra class, so he's not getting a chance to compete against Ash again. He'll be in the stands cheering Ash on. Yeah,
and Go was very involved in this episode. Like he kept saying, "Yeah, this is how it works because Farfetch and Surfetch really likes Ash and chivalry, like we talked about." And I'm like, Go, can you relax, buddy? Like you're coming on a little strong here. Here,
Never.
yeah, that's the problem with Go. He seems to get very, very excited when he's not the main focus.
Oh,
Anyways,
absolutely.
yeah,
Mhm.
Toons, what did you think of this?
This episode personally was the best. I feel like it was the best one out of like the last maybe 5 or 6. Um, out of the last like maybe, well, I won't say 5 or 6. Out of the last like 3 or 4 episodes, this was the best one, and I feel like had they not made it a little predictable at the beginning of the season, it would have had a little bit more weight, if that makes sense. Because at the
Yeah.
beginning of the season, it was like, yeah, cool. Farfetch, you're gonna get stronger. The end of the season, Farfetch, it doesn't matter if you win this battle or not, we're still gonna get stronger. Evolve, and it's like,
Yeah, I
okay,
guess.
plot armor.
Yeah, I guess my thing is, I feel like I would have had Rinto show up a couple of other times. Maybe he doesn't battle Ash. Maybe he's like doing his own thing or catching other Pokemon. And then later down the line, they have their rematch that Ash wins. I don't know. It felt kind of weird how like 6 episodes later, oh, okay, so we're already settling this.
Right. Right. Like I feel like they also I won't say that they rushed it, but for us to have seen Ash and Farfetch progression as much as we didn't see anything on Rento's side. And
Yeah.
that's what I don't like. Like
Yeah.
we should have at least gotten a training scene with Rento. Or whenever we brought up that Farfetch was training, bring up what Rento is doing.
Yeah,
Like
or maybe Rinto wants to get stronger. Maybe Rinto finds a way to Mega Evolve his Gallade. That would be super cool.
right.
Yeah, and if that's happened, then it's not because I've seen a spoiler. It's just something I would like that I think would be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, to have him be even any sort of kind of rival, there's not really any development. He shows up and he only changes after Ash beats him. It's like, okay, why is this personality so different all of a sudden?
Is it
Right.
even that different? Because he had moments where he was like he was cordial at least until they started really battling, and now all of a sudden he's just like, okay, I lost, so I don't know. I don't know. I want to see more of Rinto, but at the same time, I'm not sure I do. It's weird. It's like we talked about with characters we don't want to return. It's not that we don't like most of these characters. It's just what are they going to do with them? And in the end, is it going to be worth it? Because I've heard about some characters returning, and some people don't feel like it's been worth it so far, yet they keep asking for it.
Right.
Yeah. Again, they show who we know is going to be in at least Master Journeys in the opening. So we already know of at least 2 people.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I would feel bad spoiling anybody else, just in case for the very few of you who haven't been spoiled. But we saw in the opening that we saw Iris and we saw Gary.
Yeah, so we can't really spoil those for you because if you've seen even just the opening, you know that they're going to at least show up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
They'll play some type of role soon, but we don't know.
People had a lot to say about the Iris episode, so I'm excited to talk about it because I feel like I'm going to have some thoughts about it that people are either going to love or hate. I honestly don't know.
Well, we'll just have to see.
Yeah. Overall, though, that's the first part of Pokemon Master Journey. It's not a fantastic start, in my opinion. Some interesting stuff, but I just don't know how much of it they're going to use. But overall, I do think there are more good episodes in part 1 than bad.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I was, and this is a little bit of a bad on me. I was more engaged and more focused in on these 12 episodes than I was in Pokemon Journeys. Like nothing in Pokemon Journeys outside of a couple episodes locked me in that well that I was like, dang, I'm excited. What's about to happen? What are they about to do? Like it just, this time it actually felt, which is harking back to what I said at the beginning of this episode. It felt like the old Pokemon to me. Like I had that same feeling watching this as I did watching the old Pokemon.
Yeah. All right, Richard, what are your thoughts, Richard, overall of just everything we've talked about and everything we saw?
again, I kind of agree with everything y'all have said. It's an okay start, not the best. There were some really good episodes, but a lot of just okay.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they are able to take a step forward and give more episodes time. I'm still kind of curious if there's going to be any sort of arcs or stories that they're gonna tell, because we've already been through the main story of Sword and Shield in the first season of
Yeah.
this.
I mean, that's kind of what they did with Sun and Moon, and then they introduced the Ultra Beast arc, which I feel like even there are people who are insanely in love with Sun and Moon, the anime, which is perfectly fine. You're entitled to your opinion. It's cool. But almost everybody agrees the Ultra Beast arc was not that good. And I sat through all of it, so I agree. It's pretty boring. So maybe they might try and like make their own thing. I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, 'cause there needs to be at least a little bit of some story that's more than just the adventure that they've been going through.
Oh
But
no, it's just the returning characters. That's going to be all the stories, which you could do if this was like Pokemon Chronicles or something. But I'm going to be honest, guys. I miss the old series, and I'm not saying the old series were always perfect. Far from it. I think Journeys is actually better than some of the old series, in my opinion. But I miss the style of like seeing gym battles. I miss seeing people, all of them traveling together, place to place. I like seeing, even if a character doesn't develop for a good while, we get to see their interactions with everybody. Hey, like, sure, we all knew Brock wasn't always going to be at the forefront in like Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, but we at least saw him every episode. We at least felt like he was interacting with people. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm slowly starting to miss the old stuff.
yeah, and I really feel that again, Gal. I think I've said this before. I think in our last review, Galler's getting the short end of the stick. It's like, I
Oh,
mean, we know a little bit about 3 cities in total because that's what we've seen in and part of the wild area. So maybe we'll get some stuff with like Isle of Armor or
that would
that
be
and that,
great.
Yeah, or the
or
Crown
the
Tundra.
yeah, that's the yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, and plus, this is a mini spoiler herb. So, like, just I guess even if it's a mini spoiler, you can just close your ears or something like that. Yeah, but one of the things I've noticed for which a lot of the returning characters, a good amount of them are Sinnoh characters, and I understand if you want to do that for the upcoming games, but I'm kind of just like, for as much as we all complain about Gen 1 and Kanto getting all the recognition, why is nobody complaining about that? We're pretty much only seeing like Gen 4 people. Like, we haven't seen Richie, we've seen Lieutenant Surge in a flashback pretty much only. We haven't it seems like they're really only focusing on like 2 or 3 regions, not when you could be focusing on all of them, but mainly Galar. I don't know. It kind of bothers me.
Yeah. Do you have anything, Tunes?
I honestly I don't. I think we're at a good place with what they're trying to do. There's a lot of things that they could improve on, but as a whole, I'm happy with the direction it's going, considering Pokemon Journeys was the first bit of like Pokemon anime I had consumed outside of the movies in a long time. And then Pokemon Master Journeys, this actually makes me want to watch and continue to be a part of the lore and continue to see what they're going to come up with, because they're on the right direction. They're going in the right direction. They just haven't hit it yet.
Yeah, they're going in the right directions. They're just hitting a bunch. They've hit us some speed bumps. Like, I'm not, like I said, this wasn't bad. I don't think any of the parts we've covered in Journeys have been bad. It's just it's a little inconsistent for me.
Yeah.
I'll take a little inconsistent over downright horrible, but I have to be fair. I have to talk about the good and the bad, and there's a lot of good. There's even some great and some even fantastic stuff. Like I've said, Go, in my opinion, is probably one of the best parts of the show for me, despite the fact that most people don't seem to agree. But that's just my sense about it.
Yeah, and at least he has a defined goal. I mean, a lot of Ash's. I mean, that's the thing with Brock. It was like he wants to be a breeder, which they kind of described, but never really went into detail about him trying to do anything with. And then they just Clement just kind of traveled with Ash.
Yeah, but he at least had an arc where he became a better
Yeah.
gym leader, like when he took the
That
time
is true.
off.
That
And
is true, but he's like,
Silent was kind of just all over the place.
you need someone who can cook for you. I'll come with.
Yeah, because I don't think Iris can cook. But overall, well, like we said, some pretty decent stuff. A lot of rants, despite what we mostly liked some of this stuff, but still pretty fun. We ready to close out?
I think so.
I think so.
All right, so guys, let us know what you think of what you thought of Master Journey so far. And without spoiling anything, does it get better? Does it get worse? Like, what are your thoughts on it so far? And what if you haven't been spoiled? What stuff would you like to see? Like more stuff for Chloe, more stuff for Ash, more stuff for Francois the Magnemite, obviously.
More stuff for Chloe. More stuff for Chloe.
And does your Psyduck collection of stuff rival Chris's?
Well, mine doesn't, obviously, because I'm only Lucario, Luxray, and Arcanine. And after this, that's something else I wanted to say. After watching the arc of Farfetch to Sirfetch, I will now be taking to my Pokemon Sword and Shield game, and I will be catching a Farfetch to evolve it to a Sirfetch.
Nice.
And I will make that motherfucker buy like star Pokemon.
Nice. But just let us know. Just let us know what you like in the comments. And well, like we said, Toonz and Noons, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Just once you follow it, maybe you'll get in the Discord, or maybe you'll get kicked out like I did that one time.
Just once.
Yes, but anyway, and they're gonna be some. We're gonna get back to hopefully a semi-normal schedule with everything, and we will let you guys know. Oh, and we'll see you next time. This has been Alex
And Richard.
Toons and Goons!
and you've been listening to the Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.